In this video, I want to walk you through exactly how I price a water filtration install. Not the theory of it, the actual numbers, the actual cost breakdown, the actual margin I'm targeting per job, and the logic behind why I price below every competitor in my market instead of trying to match them. Because most people who look at water filtration pricing from the outside think one of two things. Either they think you have to charge premium prices to make real money, or they think the only way to compete on price is to race to the bottom and squeeze margin until the business does not make any sense anymore. Neither of those is right. And I want to show you the exact framework I use that lets me undercut every big dealer in my market by 50 to 70% while still netting $1,000 in profit on a standard install. That math is real, and I'm going to walk you through it right now. Before I get into the numbers, if you are thinking seriously about starting a water filtration business and you want to do it with a partner who has already built this system, the link in the description is how we work together directly. We take a small stake in the company, we build it alongside of you, and we get you your first client within 90 days. Link is in the description. Now let me walk you through the pricing. The way I approach pricing is simple. I build up from the cost floor rather than working down from a number I want to charge. On a standard flagship whole home water softener install, my material cost runs around $950. Labor and installation are around $450. So my total hard cost to deliver the job is about $1,400. I then price at roughly a 100% markup from that cost base. That gets me to a price point of around $2,700 for the flagship system. That 100% markup is not arbitrary. It gives me room for a cost to come in slightly higher than expected, room for an installer to take a little longer on a complicated job, room for a service call if something needs to be revisited after install. If I'm pricing on a tight margin with no buffer, every unexpected cost eats directly into profit and eventually into whether the business makes sense. The markup absorbs the variance that is just a normal part of running a service operation. So the math on a flagship install at $2,700 looks like this: $1,400 in costs, $1,300 left over. Out of that $1,300, I need to account for the cost of acquiring the customer, which is sitting around $300 right now. That leaves $1,000 in net profit per job. That's the target. That is what I am building the price to land at. I want to be clear that pricing below the competition is not a temporary discount I'm running until I feel confident enough to raise prices. It is the strategy. And it is the strategy for a specific reason. When you're a new company, you cannot compete on reputation. I do not have 500 reviews. I do not have 10 years of history in the market. I do not have the name recognition that Culligan has spent decades and millions of dollars building. If I try to price at the same level as an established dealer, a homeowner who's comparing me to a company with a 30-year track record is going to choose the established name every time. That's just the reality. So instead, I compete on price and value. And I use that to build the one thing I cannot buy, which is a track record in my market. Every install I do at $2,700 is a review. Every satisfied customer is a referral. Every person who tells their neighbor that they got a whole home filtration system for a third of what Culligan quoted them is a word of mouth I did not have to pay for. And here's how I frame it when a customer asks why we are priced so much lower. I tell them exactly the truth. We're a newer company and we cannot compete on reputation the way established players can. So what we can do is cut our margins down, do great work, and build our name through the quality of the installs rather than the size of our marketing budget. And I tell them that in 3 months, our price will not be what it is today. As the reputation builds, we will naturally raise prices over time. So getting in now is getting in at the best price we will ever offer. People respond to that. It is honest. It makes sense. And it creates a sense of urgency that is real rather than manufactured. I said I target $1,000 profit per install, but I want to be honest about where the floor actually is. I will take a job at $600 to $700 a profit if the circumstances make sense. Maybe it's a referral from an existing customer and I want to take care of them. Maybe the install is super straightforward and I'm confident the cost is going to come in clean. There is room to move, but my absolute floor is $500 of profit. And here's why that number is the floor rather than just a soft preference. If I take an install at less than $500 in margin and that job has any issues at all, a service call, a part that needs replacing, any follow-up work, I am now potentially underwater on that job. I went into it with almost no buffer, and any complication turns a low margin job into a losing one. And a job that loses me money is worse than no job at all because it costs me time, it costs me my installer's availability, and it leaves me in a position where I'm not happy that I took the job in the first place. Every install I take, I want to be glad I said yes to. If the margin is not there to make that true, the answer has to be no. Price negotiation comes up on occasion, and I have a clear way of handling it depending on what kind of negotiation it is. If someone is in a reasonable ballpark, they want $200 off and they're ready to commit today, and the discount is the thing standing between yes and no, I'll do it. Moving from $26.99 to $24.99 on a job where my margin is $1,300 is not something that hurts the business. I would rather close the deal than win the negotiation, but there is always a condition attached. I will give you the discount if you are signing today and we are good to go. I'm not discounting to give you more time to think about it. I am discounting to close a deal that's already there. If someone is just asking how cheap I can go with no intention of committing, that conversation goes a different direction. I go back to value. I tell them that we both already agreed this is something that their home needs. They're not going to find the same quality system installed professionally anywhere for a lower price. If they have a specific number in their head that they are ready to commit to, tell me what it is and we can talk about it. But I'm not going to keep moving a price for someone who is not ready to move forward, regardless of what number I land on. The underlying principle is that I am already the lowest legitimate option in the market. Discounting below my floor to chase a customer who's not ready to buy services doesn't help anyone. My price is fair, my system is great, and I would rather let a deal go than chase it off a cliff. Now, I want to close this video with what this pricing model looks like when you are running it at real volume, because I think the numbers are worth sitting with. My average ticket across all installs right now is around $3,100. To hit $100,000 a month in revenue, at that average, I need 33 installs. That is just over one install per day. At $1,000 profit per install, 33 installs generates $33,000 in net profit on $100K in revenue. That's a 33% margin, which is exceptional for a service business at this ticket size. And as the reputation builds, as the reviews compound, as the referral base grows, the price goes up. Every time I raise the price, the margin per install increases without any corresponding increase in cost. That is the compounding side of this model that most people don't think about when you're focused on just getting the first installs done. The pricing strategy is not a concession to the market. It is a deliberate decision to build fast at a lower margin early, use that volume to build the reputation that justifies a higher price later, and capture the compounding benefit of doing both in the right order. So that's the full pricing formula. Build from the cost floor up with enough markup to absorb variance. Target $1,000 net profit per install, price below the competition as a deliberate strategy to build reputation fast, know your floor and do not go below it, and handle negotiation with a condition attached so you are closing deals, not chasing customers who aren't ready. The math behind this business is not complicated. $3,100 average ticket, 33 installs, $33,000 in profit. That is a $100,000 month of revenue with real margin behind it. If you want to build this business with a partner who has done it and can show you exactly how to run the numbers from day one, the link is in the description. We take a small stake and we stay invested in your outcome long term. Next video, I am coming back with the month 2 update on Raleigh Water Pros. Real numbers, what all changed, what's still hard, and where we are tracking toward the 100K per month goal. I'll see you there.